Welcome back. You're watching Daybreak on this 11th day of June 2024. And I want to introduce the panelists here in studio. I have Nelson Koech, who's the chairperson of the Defense, Foreign Relations and Intelligence Committee. Good morning.
Good morning, Sam. Good morning, viewers.
Where have you been?
I've been around and...
No, you've not been around.
But I'm happy to be back.
Okay, you'll not tell us where you've been, but it's fine. There's been a lot of traveling happening lately. Alex Kanyi is a tax expert from CDHK. Good morning.
Morning.
Good to see you.
See you as well.
Dr. Makali Mulu, member Budget Committee, member of Parliament, Kitui Central, and you've also been missing in action in our studios, that is.
For some time. Good morning, viewers. Good morning, Sam.
Good morning to you. Karibu sana.
I'm in town. I've not traveled.
Oh, you haven't traveled?
No, I'm in town.
Why aren't you traveling?
No travel is for special ones.
Ah, okay.
It's not for everybody.
He's busy with budget. He should say that.
All right. Okay. One day I want to be a special one. I think I don't mind traveling quite a bit. But yeah, so we're waking up to some interesting news. Uhuru turns to God in Ruto money fight. That is the main story on the Standard. They're talking about that he's asking God to save us all. The former president says he has been forced to foot his bills contrary to the law. He wonders why State House has not remitted money to his office, yet it is in the budget. On the front page of the Daily Nation, where is Uhuru's 1.1 billion shilling funding? And President Kenyatta yesterday demanded to know the whereabouts of funds allocated to his office in the past 2 financial years, even as he accused State House of frustrating him and his family from accessing their constitutionally sanctioned benefits in ongoing feud with his successor. Let's listen into what Kanzedena said, part of what she said yesterday during that press conference.
The financial year 2023-2024 that ends in a few weeks, the budget allocation for this office was 503 million shillings. The year is ending without the office having any access to this allocation. The total amount for the 2 years that we have not had access to this approximately 1 billion Kenya shillings.
All right. So, Honorable Koech, let me begin with you because you might know what's going on that a former president will be complaining about lack of financing for a whole 2 financial years.
The Retirement Presidents Act allows the president to draw such benefits. And I mean, it's procedural for him to have asked for it. But I find the timing and the communication by Kanzedena very sensational. Let me tell you, Sam, and it is good that it has been raised, and I'm happy even with the response that Dr. Maura did give yesterday. Number one, it's not just Uhuru who is a pensioner. We have so many people. In fact, every single day I receive messages from teachers from my constituency who are demanding for their pension. There are so many other people out there. In fact, Uhuru Kenyatta should be the last person to demand for his pension. Why? Because, number one, what he's demanding for, probably, I mean, this is something that Kanzedena is saying. We don't know the communication that has been happening. But Kanzedena, I mean, there is a code of conduct of all the civil servants. There's a way they communicate. And that is why you've not even had the likes of Mudi Awori, who benefits from the same scheme, complain. Or Kalonzo Musyoka, for instance, or Raila Odinga, for that matter. But Uhuru Kenyatta is coming on because clearly it's, for me, very political. And I'll tell you this.
What do you mean political?
Because how many Kenyans out there don't have pension? How many Kenyans out there don't have a single shilling? Uhuru Kenyatta has been blessed. That family has been blessed to the extent that they are able to even operate without necessarily even getting pension. Not to say that they should not warrant a pension, but I'm telling you, it is unfair. What Uhuru Kenyatta is demanding is that his office in Caledonia should be paid. He wants to be the landlord, at the same time the tenant, and he wants to be paid for staying there. He has been told, you move to Nyari, the office that was built for the former President Mwai Kibaki. He has refused. He wants to be paid from here. I'm sure there are mechanisms within government that can address that. Probably State House Comptroller would be best suited to say that. But my point is this. Kenyans are suffering, Sam. People should appreciate where Kenyans are at this moment. It is unfair for a president, sitting president, who you can see is definitely enjoying largesse of government and traveling everywhere in the world, to still demand for money when he knows the state of the economy. He is the one who was driving, who was in the steering wheel, and he knows where the economy of this country is at the moment. I will want to hear the same president using the same breath of demanding that other pensioners are paid. We have retired soldiers.
But you see, you're right that there are many pensioners in this country.
Yes.
Saying that actually teachers are saying they're not being paid.
Not just teachers, so many pensioners out there.
We only
Some
have one former president.
I mean, what is the entitlement with politicians? I don't get it. What is the entitlement? That when you retire, you want this money, it must be given, and there are conditionalities and blackmail. Sure. I find that very, very unfair to the rest of Kenyans. Kenyans now, even now, I mean, the debate we're about to get into is the budget of this country. Can even Uhuru Kenyatta, for instance, or that office, looking at the resources that they have as a family, say, even instead of... I'm not saying that. Why is he complaining? Mudi Awori is not complaining. Kalonzo Musyoka is not complaining.
Are they being financed?
Of course, whether they are financed or not.
No, I'm asking you, those that are not complaining, based on your knowledge, are they being financed?
Everyone is being financed. I mean,
so
like
why
I
not
said,
President Kenyatta?
Uhuru Kenyatta, and I said, I find it extremely sensational. It is whipping emotions. It's speaking politics. It is not speaking on facts of the matter.
So what are the facts?
Because, let me tell you, so many corporations today, I mean, Daktari here will tell you shortly, that there hasn't been a checker that has been released to so many organizations and agencies of government.
For 2 years.
They are not complaining because generally we know the state of our economy. Uhuru Kenyatta is demanding 500 million. And I saw, look, he's demanding for a car of 53 million Kenya shillings. I mean, and then look at Kanzandena's statement. I don't know who wrote that statement. And then they are saying the other vehicles are old. How many Kenyans don't even have transport as we are talking? How many Kenyans cannot even afford to...
So let me ask you, Honorable Koech.
They want to leave...
Sorry.
They want to leave large.
Let's just hold it, Kidogo. Because the National Assembly passed a budget of 503 million shillings for the office of retired president, what did Parliament expect that money to be used for?
No, I'm saying it is there. It is. That's what I'm saying. I don't know.
So why is it not being
released? I don't know if it has been, if they have received the money or not, because Kanzadena just made an allegation, which is wrong. First of all, if Kanzadena is an office of government, there are channels. What is wrong with Uhuru Kenyatta picking up and calling President William?
So should teachers be calling those pensioners?
I am saying no. I am saying. So what is so special about him then? What is so special about him that is not special about the teachers of this country? That is not special to the doctors of this country who've retired. He should keep his cool, and I'm sure there are proper chances of communication in government. That's my point.
Wow. Let's listen to Kanzadena, what she said about cars.
State House chooses a verbal form of communication on official issues or chooses not to respond to correspondence by this office. This includes the requisition for fuel maintenance, office operations and facilitation, pending renewal of contracts and budget returns. We all know the importance of written communication in any office to maintain transparency and order. And our worry as an office is a precedence that is being set by the government of the day. Their decision to blatantly ignore execution of the Presidential Act No. 11 of 2023 seems to open up a Pandora's box that will leave a retired head of state at the mercy of the government of the day. Kuna lile swala la magari ambalo lilikuwa limezungumziwa. Nimeweza kuhakikisha ya kwamba magari alionayo rais mstaafu kwa hivi sasa ni magari aliyotoka nayo Kasarani baada ya kuweza kupatiana wadhifa wa taifa la nchi, na ilikuwa ni maelewano kwamba aweze kuchukua magari haya kwa safari ya mpito ili State House ama ikulu iweze sasa kuanza mikakati ya kuweza kumpa magari ambayo ameweza kupewa kulingana na sheria.
Now, Dr. Makari Mulu, it's interesting that you have to actually debate whether they are right or wrong, yet they are the ones who are making a case because they wear the shoe, they know it's pinching. I mean,
pinching?
Oh, shoes don't pinch.
Not them.
What do you mean? What do you mean not them?
Their shoes have nothing to pinch.
They are not pinching. That's,
Okay.
that's what you say.
Go ahead. What's your take?
Anyway, Sam, I think thank you very much for bringing this this conversation, because it's a very important conversation, and we need to put it into context. What is happening, Sam? Parliament, in our own wisdom, decided that retired presidents and deputy presidents and I think chief magistrates, chief
justices.
Yeah, chief justices will be entitled to some benefits after they retire. And that's why our parliament passed an act of parliament, which we call the Retired Presidents Benefits Act. Now, in that act, the benefits entitled to a retired president are well listed, so that once you retire, there are some things you're entitled to as a retired president. Among them are actually the cars the communication person of the retired president's office is talking about. The act says a retired president will be entitled to 2 cars of not less than 3,000 cc, and another 2 cars of not less than 3,400 cc. This is the law, which was passed by Parliament. It also says this will be new vehicles, so that after you retire, as Kajidena is saying, you hand over what you've been using as a sitting president back to the government, and then you get a new fleet of vehicles to start you off as a retired president. Now, what is coming out is that that has not happened in terms of getting the new cars. That's why she's talking about the cars they drove out of Kasarani with are the same cars they're using today. That's where the gap is. The other matter which is critical is also the matter that Parliament also, every year, do appropriate resources for retired presidents, office, and all those other offices you've mentioned. And if you listen to the debate, they're actually not talking about pensions. The complaint is not about pension, and we need to put this clear, because pensions are always budgeted for as part of the Consolidated Fund Services expenditure. So if you go to the expenditure from Consolidated Fund Services, retired presidents, even the sitting president's salary is there. And those ones are paid directly from the Consolidated Fund. They don't come through any other office. You just get your salary. And the pensions are paid still from there. So I think what we are saying is the issue is adherence to the law and political issues. And I think from what the chairman is saying, and we can pick it, all of us, the thing is there's a lot of politics being played. That's the sum is what we are saying. That now, when President Uhuru was in power, there are things, so you also did, we all know that the deputy president didn't have it easy. He had a very difficult time. And I'm sure my friend Koech was part of that hard time. So their time now has come to do what is necessary so that they pay back.
Necessary
is paying back what should. So let's just be open that President Uhuru is not going to have it easy. He needs to be prepared. But I think as Parliament now, we need to ask ourselves, if we have appropriated resources for those offices, is it fair for the office of the president? And actually the accounting officer here is not even the president. It's the controller of a state house. That's the accounting officer for state house. So at the end of the day, Parliament should be summoning the role of state house to ask these hard questions which have been asked. I think when we address this to the media, we are not helping anybody. I think Parliament, I think the committee which should be doing this in terms of implementation of the budget is our budget committee, because we normally appropriate resources.
Right.
So Parliament should be summoning the controller of our state house and asking this controller that we have appropriated resources for this office, just like we have done for the other offices. We know there are issues of exchequer release. We are facing liquidity challenges as a country. But when they say we have only released 28% of what was appropriated by Parliament, have we also released 28% for all the other offices? So that if we have done it for all the other offices, then some, we can say this is a common problem to all offices because of liquidity challenges, and on the basis of that, retired president, just like any other Kenyan, please be patient. When our liquidity situation improves, we'll be releasing more money to you. But then if we find that others have been able to observe even 70%, 80% of their budgets, and the retired president observing only 28%, then I think then Parliament should be able to do what is necessary to make sure that resources allocated for these specific offices are actually released to them.
So if for 2 financial years the resources accruing, which is more than R1 billion shillings, have not been sent, what happens? Because we're just about to close the current financial year. What happens to those allocations?
Normally, Sam, what would happen in every financial year is that when you eat that year June, any unspent resources you would always lapse. You have those resources are not available unless you roll them over to the next budget.
But you roll over what you have received.
The thing is, let's assume we are budgeted to give you 100 million this year, Sam. And because of the liquidity challenges, we are only able to release 70 million to you by the end of the year. The 30 million which has not been released actually disappears. It's not available anymore. Unless during the next budget, during the next budget cycle, you roll over the 30 million. So it means if last year we had given the president 500 million and it was never released to the retired president's office, that money is not available anymore.
It's gone.
It's gone. So we are talking about now the 2023-2024 budget. What is allocated there? That's what is available. So
is there a chance that the controller actually received those resources?
That's what we need to find out. And that's what I'm saying. There's much more technical work than political work that we need to find out. Was the money released? Because what normally, once we clear the budgets, it's the work of Treasury to release what we call exchequer releases, the money now itself. You know, budget are proposals. But then every quarter or every month, Treasury should be releasing the money now to the controller of budget, status controller, to their accounts, so that now they can start accessing the money. So there are two things you need to find out. Was the money ever released? And maybe if it was released, could it be then it was applied some other place? And these are the questions Parliament should be asking. That did you ever get the money? If he says no, then the blame shifts from State House to Treasury, because it's now more an exchequer release issue. If the money was released to the control of State House and he never released the money to the retired president office, then that question should be asked. Why? And is it political? Is it that you are not able to release the money? And these are things which need to be discussed, Sam.
Okay.
Yes.
Alex, sorry, I'll get to you, Honorable Koech. But Alex, what are you making of this? Because there's some expectation that a country would treat its esteemed leaders in a certain way. We've not seen such kind of treatment with former presidents Moi and Kibaki, both deceased. Yet this is happening. What should Kenyans be thinking of now?
As a lawyer, my thoughts go to the rule of law. We could be moving towards a kind of difficult direction where anybody who is in power then chooses what law to follow and at whose expense. And unfortunately, that trend has continued from the previous regime and up to the current regime. So I think that's where the problem is. So if you have an act of parliament clearly stipulating what kind of benefits should be given to the retired president, and then you opt to not to fund that and perhaps use money elsewhere, then there should be a clear justification as to why that is not being done. And for the longest, just speaking as an ordinary Kenyan, we have had issues, say, of floods, fertilizers, doctors, nurses, everyone complaining about getting their funds from the government. And you've also had other non-priority expenditure, and some of it would be some of the travel that we see. So clearly, to me, it says that we have some money, but where we are allocating that money is then what is being decided from an angle that is not following the law.
What should the former president do if you're in his shoes?
And again,
he says don't pinch, really.
And again, again, speaking like a lawyer, there's things you take to court, and there are things which you discuss and try to find an amicable solution. And I'm thinking this is one of those ones where you prefer to negotiate as opposed to going to court or coming to parliament to complain, because at the end of the day, they are the same people who will still not follow the rule of law. So I guess that's how I'd approach it.
You wanted to say something, but I'm also wondering, this statement was made by Kanzidena, responded to by the government spokesperson. The controller is quiet. The spokesperson at State House is quiet.
I'm sure the information the spokesperson was relaying was information from the controller of State House, because there are channels in government of communication. We wouldn't do what Kanzidena is doing. There's no competition. There's no contest. There's no sense of urgency, if you ask me. And I don't even understand why the media is awash with this,
So you want the media not to report?
No, because I don't want to read the act selectively. Dr. Arya has expounded very largely on the act, but allow me to read section 5 of the same act. That a retired president shall not hold office in any political party for more than 6 months after ceasing to hold the office of the president. And a retired president shall not be expected to play, shall be expected to play a consultative and advisory role to the government and the people of Kenya. The question I'll ask you, Sam, is, has the former president complied? Those are some of the things that we ask. If we're reading the act and in the strict sense of the act, then it is very clear that President Uhuru Kenyatta, even when he handed over the sword, said he will recognize President Ruto as the president, but his leader is Honorable Raila Odinga. Some communications that you make also must...
So, question here. You're saying he's still an official of a political party?
I am reading the act as it is. You should not hold... Uhuru Kenyatta is a party leader.
So because he's party leader of Jubilee, so what happens?
I am saying that is the law.
No, I'm asking you, what happens?
Then if I was government and I was going to stick to the law without necessarily being petty, I will not pay you.
Pay what?
He should not be entitled.
To what?
To any payment or any remuneration for his office.
Because, look, there's the office of the retired president.
Precisely.
Which is not necessarily the same as Uhuru Kenyatta, the person.
So, so if you are resourcing the person, you're resourcing... So
the office would have equipment...
No, but the act speaks to the person.
Just hold on. Yeah. The office would have the equipment, the furniture, the workers maintained, because that's a public office, so to speak. But it does not depend on what Uhuru Kenyatta is doing.
The office is as good as a holder. For instance, today, if there is no Minister of Trade, why will you be resourcing that ministry of that particular minister?
So there's no retired president in Kenya, that's what you're saying?
No, what I understood that Uhuru was complaining about were his vehicles. Going back to what Kanzidena was saying, that he actually needs new vehicles because the vehicles that he's using...
because he's the party leader of Jubilee, he shouldn't have official vehicles?
I'm saying if it was me and we are following the strict law as a sense of the law, then he should not be. But because we are not petty,
I'm failing to find that connection between him holding the office. What should be the consequence if he holds the office of party leader Jubilee? What is the consequence?
It is here. Do you want me to read?
You don't access the benefits.
You don't access the benefit.
What specific benefits are you talking about?
The president and retired president shall not be expected to... He will actually be supposed to play advisory role in government. So if his retired benefits act in Section 5, a retired president shall not hold office in any political party. So it is an interpretation probably now by the lawyer to say which benefits can we selectively give him and which one should we deny.
So are you reading that to justify what is going on? Or?
I'm not justifying it. I'm saying there is a section of the act that we did not read.
So where are the resources? 503 million shillings, where are they?
Kanzidena has spoken. There is a process of communication in government. I wish even they had petitioned government.
She says she's done letters.
I wish they had petitioned government. They have not.
They've been writing letters, including...
Parliament will have acted.
They write to the State House.
Yeah, but I mean, this is... Dr. Ari here is in the budget committee.
No, I'm asking you...
If there was a concern...
Just hold on, Chairman. She says, and she was here last night, and she said that as early as January 2023, they wrote to the control of State House talking about the hiring of herself and another gentleman who was supposed to be joining the office of the retired president. That communication has never been acknowledged, never responded to.
Yeah, I'm sure there's a process of hiring civil servants. She wants to be hired as a civil servant. How do you pitch and protest and come to media houses?
No, that was January 2023, not yesterday.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. That's why she was pitching yesterday. She's complaining because, of course, she's now getting frustrated that she's not being hired. There are so many Kenyans out there who have not been hired.
So who is supposed to communicate for the former president?
Let me tell you, and Daktari told you very easily, if there is a challenge in the office of the retired president, it is very easy that it is brought to the attention of Parliament that there is this remuneration that we have not received. You as Parliament, you have appropriated.
Who is supposed to make that communication?
It is Kanze Dena. She didn't, actually, that her first
As
should have been
who?
there.
She's not hired.
So what was she doing here?
She's speaking for the former president.
Yeah, so if she's speaking for the former president, Parliament receives any petitions from any quarter, regardless of who you are. For as
the
long
House
as you're a
is
Kenyan.
sitting past a budget of 503 million shillings for the current financial year.
It is very concerning, and I really want to understand why they're saying that there is money that has been appropriated for the purposes of the retired president and they've not received. You know, it could be different.
You don't believe it?
I don't believe it. It's sensational. It is politics. We are not, this government is not vindictive. This government is not like Uhuru Kenyatta's administration that totally frustrated William Ruto, denying him resources until he had to fuel his vehicles.
Then
this
why
is
would
not that petty?
Why
that is
would,
why, even right now as we are talking, all the movements by Uhuru Kenyatta to all these missions that he attends and all this peacekeeping that he attends is catered for by the same government.
How much? How much money has been?
I wouldn't know the exact cost.
Anyway,
Sami,
I think
let's take a short break. We'll come back to conclude on this. You can also text us views on 2242 or tweet us at Citizen TV Kenya, Sam Gituku. The hashtag to use the Citizen Daybreak will be sampling a bit of what you're saying this morning. After the break, stay tuned.